Okay, so today's video is a bit different. As you can see, we have a motorbike. It's not the Astra, it is a bike this time on the channel. Today we have the Bullet Hunt S125. This has been lent to me by a friend, a work colleague of my partner's. He's basically lent me the bike. I've had it now for about a month, and I've been trying to do this recording for, as I say, about a month. But obviously the setup on a bike is totally different to a car, so I've obviously had to try and find a mic and stuff like that to put on my helmet. But I've hopefully found one now. So I'm going to just do this quick video, just to basically show you around the bike, have a few little riding clips out and a bit chat to you about it then. But I'm hoping that this is going to start a little bit more bike content on the channel. And I know that's obviously not what everybody's after, but I want to this channel's obviously to be about everything that I do. In biking, I've had my license now for a couple of years. And I was into biking when I was younger. Obviously done my full license, and I just haven't had a bike. So it has been coming, but it's just obviously trying to sort things out. And then obviously when I was given this and lent this for a couple of months, it's kind of just reignited that passion. So I'm hoping, I am going to hopefully buy a bike myself in the next month or so. And then obviously we'll have a bit more biking content on the channel. And I understand if that's not what everybody's after, that's up to you kind of. But this car was never just this channel was never intended just to be about a car. It was just kind of about everything in general of what I do. So as you can see, it is kind of a naked kind of cafe racer style, I would call it. It is just a 125, so it's just got a little air-cooled engine. There's no radiators, nothing like that. But my god, I have had so much fun on this bike. Yes, it doesn't have the top speeds and it struggles to go up hills and stuff like that, but I've had so much fun on this bike. It is unbelievable. As you can see, it's just kind of got the one seat, which you can have pillions on, just have the passenger foot pegs, but I don't have any pillions, it's just me. It's very basic. It doesn't have many kind of mod cons, it doesn't have much technology on it, which is great. For a 125, it's just nice and simple. There's nothing special about it, I suppose. It does still have a choke, so obviously on the colder days you have to put the choke on just to make sure it starts alright. But it starts pretty much straight away on the button. Once it's warm, it's great. There's no kind of waiting for it, it just starts. Obviously it's in a nice silver kind of. It does have a little bit of a flake in it, I have noticed, but it's just, yeah. And I believe Dave, from what I can see, has got obviously the brown seat and handlebars. So yeah, this bike, as I say, it's been lent to me for a couple of months. I haven't got it full time. It is just, I've got another month left with it, well, 3 weeks at this point. So I wanted to try and do a little bit of content with it whilst I've still got it. And yeah, just kind of show you, obviously, it'll probably just be kind of commuting videos, stuff like that. It'll be nothing special. But I definitely want to try and get a bit more bike content on the channel in anticipation of me buying my own bike. So as you see, here it is. This is what we're riding at the moment. And again, big thank you to Dave if you're watching this. I'm not sure whether you will be, but I really do appreciate you lending me this bike. I have had so much fun on it. It is unbelievable. And obviously here, it's just nice and plain. There's nothing too fancy about it. Key it does have a kill switch, which I know some bikes don't have, which is nice. So there we go. And see, there we go, straight away started up. It's obviously just got standard exhaust, but it still sounds pretty nice. So obviously you can see it has some form of issues with heat, because you can see it obviously discolouring itself. But in terms of the bike itself, I've had no issues with this at all. It feels really nice to ride. It's got good power. Obviously there's no top end to it, but it has a nice power band. I'm not kind of waiting for it. It does just kind of nicely creep up. It's not too aggressive for a 125 or anything like that, and obviously the seating position is quite relaxed. Yeah, you're not obviously hunched over. It is a very upright seating position, which I imagine is the same with most of these kind of cafe racer type style bikes. So yeah, so we'll get sorted and we'll get out and we'll do a bit riding on it, and we'll go through a few more points while we're out and about. So yeah, so now we're back obviously on the road. It's a nice bike for me, especially because obviously I'm quite short, so I'm only 5'4". So touching the floor on bikes is kind of a big problem that I have in trying to find a bike that I can actually have, because I need to make sure I can touch the ground on it. This I can pretty much flat foot with both feet down, which is obviously great, because what I kind of, when I'm looking for a bike, I make sure that I can at least tiptoe with both feet, and obviously usually you are only meant to have one foot up, and obviously 1 foot covering the back brake, so I can easily flat foot this with 1 foot. And obviously, as you can see, our seating position, it's just totally nice and chilled. She did not see us there at all. Just feel I'd kind of clocked her already before we got there. I don't think that woman's seen us either. So yeah, obviously, I'm in a bit of a high gear to actually show you here, but it's just quite nice and smooth whilst you're riding, and it just climbs up the power just nice. As I say, it's not too aggressive, it's not too like kind of pulling you back on the seat. It is just a nice power band on it, I suppose. But yeah, as I say, I've had this bike now for about 5 weeks. I think I've got about 3 weeks left with it. I've got it till the end of June. And I have loved it. I've only really used it for commuting. I haven't really used it that much just in general. I've been out a couple of times, but not loads. And yeah, every time I've gone out on it, I've just got a big smile on my face, and I've just enjoyed it, and it's definitely made me want to get back into biking, kind of just in general. So obviously I am now looking for my own bike, hopefully to get, as soon as kind of I give this back, hopefully the next week or two after that, I'll get my own. And as I say, we'll try and do a bit more biking content on the channel. And as I said before, if it's not what you like, I understand that. I will still be posting stuff about the car and anything else that I do. I have got another video coming up soon, which is a little bit different. It's not about the Astra, but it is still car related. But I do want to kind of have this channel just incorporate everything that I tend to do. So obviously, if I do get a bike, there'll be a lot more bike content on as well. Which I hope obviously people won't mind, and it'll be kind of me doing the same as what I do with the car. So it'll be like kind of how-to videos, modifying the bike, fitting different parts on it. But it obviously just depends on what bike I end up getting. I'm still not 100% sure. There's another one I want, but it's whether I can get a good deal on one. So yeah. But I'd say this has definitely kind of reignited the biking in me, and it's definitely made me want to get one, especially for like the summer. Like at the moment it is nice, but the weather isn't great. So another person just pulling out. Why obviously on a bike you have to be looking all the time, because people are just constantly pulling out on you. So yeah, as you can see obviously now that we're riding it, it's just nice. It's just nice and chilled. Ride quite often, especially through the villages. You don't need both hands. And yeah, everything just feels good on the bike. The only thing I would say, which obviously if this was my bike and I would make this change, but it's not, so I've just kind of adapted to it, I suppose, is the clutch lever is extremely long. So actually finding the clutch, it's very far in the kind of the range of it. So I'll kind of try and point the camera when we have to change gear. So that's the clutch engaged there. So trying to find the biting point with my hand's quite like kind of far out. My fingers are obviously having to stretch a little bit, so I would prefer if that was a bit closer, just like kind of the engagement. So as I say, if this was my bike, I probably would amend that and kind of play around with the clutch and stuff like that, but because it's not, I'm just kind of getting used to it, and it's not too bad. It's just a personal preference of how I would have this bike set up, but everything else is great. It's just kind of like a little nice, cheap, cheerful bike to ride. Fuel wise, it's great. I've had to fill this, well, I put fuel in it, shall I say, twice. When I first got it, I just thought I'll just fill it up to the top, then at least I know I have a full tank and we'll go from there. And then the other week when I was coming home, well, the other day, sorry, when I was coming home from work, as I went round a corner, the petrol light did flash on. So I wasn't sure whether I needed fuel, so I thought, we'll just pop it in anyway. And I think it turns out we didn't really need fuel. I think we had about half a tank left. But I think it cost me £10 or £11 to fill it back up, which I think I got about 250 miles to half a tank. So you're probably talking 450 to 500 miles a tank, which is really good, and especially when it's only costing you what, maybe 20 to 25 pound, obviously depending on your petrol prices around you. I can't complain at that at all. I am really happy with that, and it's, as we all know, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than the Astra, which is just a fortune to run. And I think even the bikes that I am looking at now aren't actually too bad either. So a bike's definitely a lot cheaper to run, shall we say. Obviously you do have to buy a lot more kit and gear for it, which I understand. I obviously was quite lucky, I had a lot of my kit and gear from the last time I had a bike, so I just kind of reused a lot of it. I have bought some new stuff because I did prefer a couple of other things. So I bought some shorter gloves, because the gloves that I had before were kind of the big kind of sport bike gloves from when I used to do track days. So obviously I have bought some short gloves, because especially for just commuting and potting around, I really didn't need the big gloves. And obviously you do have to buy a helmet, jacket, gear, all that kind of stuff. So it can mount up. Obviously people say that it is cheaper, but it can mount up definitely. And I'm not saying that overall it's cheaper than a car, but definitely running cost wise, I would say it is. And especially this one, when I could easily get what, like nearly 500 miles to a tank, I really can't complain to that. Obviously at the moment I've only done 27 miles with this new tank. So yeah, but as you can see as well, this bike has only covered 2,000 miles, which is nothing. It's a 2017, and 2,000 miles on that it's pretty good. Just a kind of a quick little video on the bike. It is my first kind of moto vlog, so to speak, so hopefully it hasn't been too bad for you guys. I understand obviously I'm not quite as confident with this as what I am on a car, and I think it's just because I'm not sure exactly if you can fully hear me or not. I have done some tests and it's alright, but I just want to kind of make sure. Okay guys, so yeah, so thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you've stayed this long, I do appreciate it. I know it's not our usual videos, but as I say, there could be a few more like this. Hopefully they are a bit better than this one, but yes, I am hoping to do motovlogs a little bit more. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. Bye bye.
Tell me what you mean, tell me what you mean, tell me